When storms rise, most people try to hold tighter to the external titles, possessions, opinions, routines, but the deeper truth is this: anything outside of you can be taken away. What remains, what endures, is the quality of your mind and the discipline of your spirit. Stability is not a gift, it is not inherited, it is trained. Just as a tree extends its roots before it reaches for the sky, you must root yourself in awareness before you move through the demands of life. Your breath becomes your anchor, your focus becomes your guide. Your actions become deliberate instead of reactive, and in this practice something remarkable happens. The noise of the world grows quieter, and your direction becomes clear. Do not wait for life to calm down. Do not wait for perfect circumstances. Do not wait for others to understand your path. Stand firm, stand conscious, stand awake. Peace is not the absence of chaos, it is the skill of navigating it with a steady heart. Today, make a promise to your anchor, your focus becomes your guide. Your actions become deliberate instead of reactive, and in this practice something remarkable happens. The noise of the world grows quieter, and your direction becomes clear. Do not wait for life to calm down. Do not wait for perfect circumstances. Do not wait for others to understand your path. Stand firm, stand conscious, stand awake. Peace is not the absence of chaos, it is the skill of navigating it with a steady heart. Today, make a promise to the first essential understanding is that stability is not something the world grants you, it is something you cultivate deliberately from within. Most people grow up believing that if their environment becomes calm, they will finally feel balanced. They wait for the right job, the right relationship, the right season of life, imagining that peace will arrive once circumstances align. But reality does not operate on such terms. Life remains in motion, unpredictable, changing, often disruptive. The true source of steadiness must therefore be independent of external conditions. Inner stability is not a passive trait, it is an active discipline, a training of mind and body to respond with clarity instead of being pushed around by impulses, fears, or the pressure of the moment. To build this steadiness, you begin by understanding your reactions. Every time you feel overwhelmed, you are not being defeated by the situation itself, but by the untrained response to it. When the mind is anchored, even storms become navigable. This is why awareness becomes the first tool. You learn to observe your thoughts instead of being controlled by them, to witness your emotions instead of drowning in them. With practice, the gap between stimulus and reaction widens. In that gap lies your freedom to choose, and with that choice comes strength. Breath becomes another fundamental aspect of this training. Your breath is the rhythm of your internal world, a constant companion that reflects your mental state. When the mind races, the breath becomes shallow. When fear takes hold, the breath becomes erratic. When you consciously regulate your breathing, slow, deep, steady, you send a message to the entire system: remain grounded. This is why controlled breathing is not simply a physical technique, but a powerful stabilizing force that shifts your emotional landscape. It transforms chaos into clarity. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes, until you can access stability. Is not built through moments of inspiration, but through consistent practice, especially when you least feel like doing it. Just as the body becomes stronger through repeated training, the mind becomes balanced through daily habits of awareness, reflection, and intentional action. You train yourself to show up with presence, to move with purpose, to respond rather than react. There will be days when the world feels too loud, when stress attempts to drag you into old habits. But each time you remind yourself to remain aware, each time you choose steadiness over scatteredness, you reinforce the foundation of inner strength. Over time, this foundation becomes unshakable. Problems may appear, but they no longer overwhelm you. Unexpected challenges may arise, but they no longer break your rhythm. You begin to carry your own calm into every environment, influencing the world instead of being shaped by it. The second essential understanding is that clarity is not something discovered by accident. It is cultivated through intentional focus. In a world overloaded with information, distractions pull the mind in countless directions. People often confuse movement with progress and noise with importance, yet true clarity is the art of cutting through the unnecessary, seeing what truly matters, and directing your energy toward what aligns with your purpose. Without clarity, even great effort becomes scattered. With clarity, even small actions become powerful. The mind must be trained to filter, to stay unwavering in its direction, and to operate from intention rather than impulse. Focus begins with recognizing how easily attention leaks away. Every notification, every opinion, every comparison, every expectation pulls at your awareness, and without discipline, the mind adopts the habit of fragmentation. When awareness is split, emotional stability suffers. When the mind jumps between past regrets and future worries, it loses its grounding in the present moment. The present is the only space where clarity can exist. It is the only place where decisions are made, habits are shaped, and transformation occurs. So the practice is to continually bring the mind back, not forcefully, but deliberately, into the now. The more often you return to the present, the more clearly you see the next step in front of you. Instead of being overwhelmed by the entire path, a significant part of cultivating clarity lies in learning to listen inward rather than outward. Most people navigate life based on reactions to the world. They chase validation, avoid discomfort, and follow what others expect rather than what feels authentic. This creates a fog inside, a sense of being lost even when surrounded by activity. To develop clarity, you begin by quieting the external noise and tuning into your own internal signals. You ask yourself, what is essential? What is draining me? What aligns with my values? What am I doing simply out of habit, fear, or pressure? These questions act like a lens, sharpening your vision until what matters most becomes unmistakable. Establishing clarity also requires learning to let go. The mind becomes clouded not only by distractions, but by attachments to old stories, outdated identities, unresolved emotions, and limiting beliefs. Holding on to these patterns blocks the path forward. Letting go is not about forgetting the past, it is about releasing the grip it has on you. When you stop carrying unnecessary weight, your thoughts become lighter, decisions become simpler, and your direction becomes more defined. This release creates mental space, and in that space, clarity naturally emerges. Once clarity begins to take root, your actions start to reflect your intentions. You no longer move randomly or reactively. Every step is aligned with purpose. You conserve energy by focusing only on what contributes to your growth, your values, and your long-term vision. This alignment builds confidence because you are no longer guessing your way through life. You are choosing your path consciously, moment by moment, with awareness and precision. Get smarter responses, upload files and images. And the third essential understanding is that strength is not something expressed only in moments of triumph. It is shaped quietly in the small, often unnoticed decisions you make every day. Many imagine strength as explosive power, dramatic endurance, or visible achievement, but genuine lasting strength is far more subtle and far more profound. It is the ability to remain steady when emotions surge, to act with integrity when temptation offers an easier path, to continue moving forward even when no one is watching. Strength grows not from extraordinary acts but from consistent discipline, self-mastery, and the willingness to confront your own limitations with honesty. True strength begins with accepting responsibility for your inner world. It requires acknowledging that no one else can regulate your emotions, your thoughts, or your choices. External support can help, but dependency weakens the foundation. The moment you recognize that your reactions belong to you, that your anger, your impatience, your fears, and your doubts are not imposed upon you but arise within you, you reclaim the power to change them. This is where strength takes root, in taking ownership of your internal state instead of placing blame or seeking escape. Every time you choose to manage your inner turbulence instead of placing blame or seeking escape, every time you choose to manage your inner turbulence instead of projecting it outward, you reinforce the pillars of inner resilience. Strength also grows through repetition. The mind and body adapt to what they practice most. If you practice avoidance, you become skilled at running away. If you practice discipline, you become skilled at enduring. Each day offers countless moments to train strength, waking up when comfort urges you to stay in bed, maintaining patience when irritation tries to take over, returning to focus when distraction pulls you away. These small victories accumulate, transforming your behavior, reshaping your mindset, and sharpening your resilience. Over time, they carve a character that stands firm even when situations become demanding. Another crucial dimension of strength is the willingness to face discomfort. Discomfort is the gateway to growth, yet many resist it, believing that ease is the sign of a good life. But ease does not develop resilience, challenge does. Whether it is physical exertion, emotional vulnerability, or mental discipline, stepping into discomfort builds the capacity to endure pressure without breaking. Strength is born in the friction between what you are and what you have the potential to become. When you voluntarily step into that friction, you accelerate your own evolution. You prove to yourself again and again that you are capable of more than you once believed. Strength also involves balance. It is not rigid, nor is it forceful. It requires flexibility, adaptability, and wisdom. A tree that refuses to bend breaks in strong winds, but one that can adapt remains standing. Inner strength functions the same way. When circumstances change unexpectedly, strength allows you to adjust without collapsing. It allows you to make decisions with calm instead of panic. It helps you see challenges not as threats but as opportunities to deepen your mastery. Through balance, strength moves from brute force to refined power. As this understanding deepens, you begin to realize that strength is not merely about enduring life, but about shaping it deliberately. It becomes the anchor that allows you to meet challenges with confidence, the compass that directs your choices, and the energy that fuels your growth. The fourth essential understanding is that presence is not simply being physically in the moment. It is the deep alignment of your attention, your intention, and awareness with the reality unfolding in front of you. Most people move through their days on autopilot, drifting through tasks while their minds wander elsewhere toward worries, memories, fantasies, or expectations. This scattered state weakens perception, drains energy, and creates a sense of constant restlessness. Presence, on the other hand, gathers all parts of you into one focused point. It sharpens your senses, steadies your emotions, and strengthens your connection to yourself and to the world around you. Presence is both a discipline and a gift, cultivated through repeated practice of returning to the now. A key element of presence is learning to slow down internally, even while life moves quickly around you. The world encourages speed, fast decisions, fast reactions, fast consumption of information, but inner stability requires spaciousness. Slowing down does not mean becoming inactive, it means bringing clarity into each step so your actions become precise instead of frantic. When you slow the internal pace, you begin to notice details previously overlooked: the tension in your shoulders, the pattern of your thoughts, the tone of your inner dialogue. These observations reveal the hidden forces shaping your behavior. Once you become aware of them, you are no longer controlled by them. Presence transforms unconscious patterns into conscious choices. Another aspect of presence is deep listening, not just to others but to yourself. Listening requires silence, not merely the absence of sound but the quieting of mental noise. When the mind is loud with assumptions, fears, and judgments, it cannot truly hear. Presence asks you to set aside the internal commentary and observe what is actually happening. This practice deepens your understanding of the world and enhances your relationships. People feel the difference when you listen fully. They sense your sincerity and respect. And when you listen to yourself with the same depth, you begin to uncover truths that were hidden beneath layers of busyness and distraction. Presence also involves embracing the reality of each moment without resistance. Most suffering arises not from the moment itself, but from the mind's refusal to accept it. We resist discomfort, resist uncertainty, resist emotions we consider unpleasant. This resistance creates internal conflict. Presence allows you to meet the moment as it is, to feel emotions without drowning in them, to face challenges without adding stories to it. Acceptance does not mean passivity, it means seeing clearly before acting. When you view the moment without distortion, your response becomes grounded, effective, and wise. Cultivating presence requires continuous practice. You return to your breath when the mind drifts. You anchor yourself in your body when worry pulls you away. You observe thoughts without giving them power. You bring your attention back again and again, each time reinforcing the habit of living consciously. Slowly, presence becomes not just something you practice, but something you embody. You move through life with heightened awareness, responding with intention rather than reaction. Moments become richer. Relationships deepen, and challenges feel less overwhelming because you are no longer fighting the current. You are flowing with it, fully awake, fully engaged, fully here. The fifth essential understanding is that transformation does not occur through inspiration alone. It unfolds through consistent, conscious action. Many people wait for the right moment to change, believing that motivation must strike before they begin. They wait for clarity, for courage, for permission. But transformation begins the moment you decide to act despite uncertainty, despite discomfort, despite doubt. Change is not an event, it is a continuous process shaped by the choices you make every day. Each small action becomes a brick in the foundation of the person you are becoming, and over time, those bricks form a structure strong enough to carry a new version of yourself. A crucial part of transformation is recognizing that your habits shape your destiny more than your intentions do. Intention opens the door, but habit walks you through it. Without action, even the most powerful insights remain unused. Transformation requires you to examine your routines with honesty. You ask yourself which habits strengthen you and which weaken you, which behaviors align with your values and which pull you away from them. Every habit, no matter how small, carries momentum. It either pushes you forward or holds you back. When you begin replacing habits of avoidance, distraction, or self-doubt with habits of discipline, focus, and awareness, you rewire your internal landscape. Your actions begin to align with your aspirations, and the gap between who you are and who you want to be starts to shrink. Another important aspect of transformation is patience. Change rarely happens in dramatic leaps. It unfolds gradually, often unnoticed in its early stages. You may not see immediate results, and this can tempt you to give up or revert to old patterns. But transformation demands persistence. Just as a seed grows beneath the soil long before it breaks the surface, your internal changes take time to manifest externally. You continue your practice, not because you have already reached your goal, but because every repetition strengthens your foundation. Patience becomes a form of discipline, allowing you to trust the process even when progress feels invisible. Transformation also requires courage, the courage to confront your fears, to step away from familiar limitations, and to embrace the unknown. Fear often disguises itself as practicality or caution, whispering reasons to stay exactly where you are. But growth lives beyond the boundaries of your comfort zone. When you challenge yourself, you discover abilities you didn't know you had. When you face discomfort willingly, you expand your capacity to handle life. Each courageous step, no matter how small, becomes a declaration that you are choosing evolution over stagnation. A final dimension of transformation is self-compassion. Many people believe that change must be fueled by pressure or harshness, but lasting transformation comes from understanding, patience, and kindness toward oneself. Self-compassion does not mean avoiding accountability. It means guiding yourself with the same encouragement you would offer someone you care about. When you make mistakes, instead of collapsing into shame or frustration, you acknowledge them, learn from them, and continue forward. This gentle approach keeps you engaged in the process rather than trapped in cycles of self-judgment. Transformation thrives when the mind becomes a supportive environment rather than a battlefield. Through conscious action, disciplined habits, patience, courage, and compassion, transformation becomes not just a possibility, but a natural outcome of your daily choices. The sixth essential understanding is that harmony is not something that appears when life becomes perfect. It is something created through the ongoing balance between your inner world and the outer world. Many people believe harmony means avoiding conflict, eliminating challenges, or escaping discomfort. But true harmony is not the absence of difficulty. It is the ability to move through difficulty without losing your center. It is the art of aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions so that they support each other instead of competing for control. Harmony arises when you learn to integrate the lessons of life rather than resist them, when you treat every experience as part of your growth instead of labeling it as good or bad. A fundamental part of harmony is understanding the relationship between mind and body. These two are not separate, they influence each other continuously. When the mind is tense, the body contracts. When the body contracts, when the body is calm, the mind finds ease. Many people carry internal conflict because they live disconnected from their physical state. They push their bodies while ignoring fatigue, or they allow emotional stress to accumulate until it manifests physically. Cultivating harmony means tuning into the signals your body gives you, tension, breath changes, posture shifts, and allowing these signals to guide your awareness. When you breathe deeply, move consciously, and give the body what it needs, you create an internal environment where clarity and stability can thrive. Another aspect of harmony involves balancing effort and stillness. Constant effort without rest leads to burnout, while constant stillness without effort leads to stagnation. Harmony is achieved when you know when to push and when to pause, when to speak and when to be silent, when to act and when to observe. This balance does not come from rigid rules but from paying attention to your internal rhythm. You begin to sense when your energy is aligned and when it is scattered. You learn to alternate intensity with recovery, allowing your mind and body to recharge so your actions remain effective rather than forced. This rhythm becomes a source of power, enabling you to move through life with endurance rather than exhaustion. Harmony also requires embracing dualities rather than choosing sides. Life is full of contrasts, strength and softness, discipline and compassion, ambition and contentment. Many people struggle because they feel they must choose one quality over another. But harmony emerges when you allow both to exist in balance. You can be strong without becoming rigid, soft without becoming weak. You can pursue growth while appreciating the present moment. You can be disciplined while still being kind to yourself. When dualities coexist, they enrich each other and create a more complete, resilient version of you. Relationships are another area where harmony becomes essential. Interactions with others often reflect the state of your own inner world. When you are centered, you listen more deeply, respond more thoughtfully, and communicate more clearly. When you are unsettled internally, the smallest conflicts can feel overwhelming. Harmony in relationships comes from understanding that you cannot control the behavior of others, but you can control the quality of your own presence. You can choose patience over reaction, understanding over assumption, and compassion over judgment. This does not mean accepting mistreatment. It means approaching interactions from a place of grounded clarity rather than emotional turbulence. A final dimension of harmony is acceptance. This does not mean resignation or passivity. It means recognizing reality clearly instead of resisting what you cannot change. Acceptance creates mental space, allowing you to respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. When you accept the moment as it is, you can work with it rather than against it. This cooperation with life rather than opposition to it is the essence of harmony. It allows you to move through challenges with grace, to adapt without losing yourself, and to navigate the unpredictability of the world with a grounded, steady presence. Attach, search, study, voice, chat. GPT can make mistakes. Check important info.